Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Supershares powered by Q. My name is Joe Marquez, Director of Academic Innovation for Q, and we are super excited to have you here for Spring Q Week here at Q Supershares. Yes, just in a few short days, we will be ascending upon Palm Springs for one of the greatest conferences that I have ever attended, and that is Spring Q. That's right. In Palm Springs, California, March 21st through 23rd, we will be having educators galore with sessions on AI, social emotional learning, apps that you know and love, and more. But more importantly, we are going to have some amazing keynotes and amazing individuals there that will inspire and change the way you look at what is possible in education. And I have to say, our guest for today is amazing. If you were not at Fall Q this year to experience the amazingness that is Schoolyard Rap, you truly missed out. But you don't have to miss out if you're going to Spring Q, because they will be keynoting opening night of Spring Q. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring Brandon Brown on, because he is the man behind the plan. Brandon, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I truly have to say, I am in awe at everything you've created, everything you've put together, and the world that you are changing through music. I have to say, it's absolutely amazing.
You know, I really appreciate that, Joe. I'm just going to also say I appreciate the enthusiasm by which you introduced me. I need to take you on tour with me from now on and just be my hype man, because that was really good. What we do is so powerful. It's so impactful. And as time and time shows, with districts upon districts, it's so needed. And so I'm very excited and grateful for the opportunity to present this week in a couple of short days at Q Conference. We're going to blow the roof off the house.
Seriously, when we saw what you put on at Fall, and we were just so amazed by it, and you said, that's like only a fraction of what we do. We're like, what? You're like, yeah, we do a whole full-on production with dancers and music, and we were like, that sounds like a Spring Q thing to me. And we were able, thankfully and luckily able to find the time that it worked, and you're going to be there. I can't wait to see the roar of the crowd when it happens. It's going to be mind blowing.
It's going to be epic. I think it will sound a lot like this, actually. Q Conference will never be the same after we have a chance to bring our show, one of our live shows, to the Q Conference. It's going to be full of affirmations, education, dance, and movement, and educational music that every single attendee will appreciate. I'm excited. In a couple of days.
That video is amazing. There was that one scene you had your dancers, and in the background there was all the lights. Just like at a concert. I can't wait to see if that happens at Spring Q.
That depends on the attendees. We need to see if the attendees at the Q Conference, if they will allow themselves to step out their comfort zones and be kids again and enjoy a concert. Because that's what this is. That was what you just saw, was footage of our show Soy Asombroso, which is our Latino history content show, and we did that at the YouTube Theater this year, and 16 other cities. But at the YouTube Theater in Los Angeles, we had 6,000 kids come and attend, and that's how you saw all those lights for the show. It was just an epic experience.
No, that was fantastic, and you travel all over. Right? You did a show at the YouTube Theater a few short months back. You came to my hometown, Fresno, California. You're all over the place, and you are changing lives every show. I love what you do.
Man, it's such a passion. This company started off with me personally, Griot B as an artist, a griot being a West African storyteller, and it passed the history down generation through generation. I took upon that mantle for our youth today. It started with just me going to schools, colleges to start off. Went to 52 colleges on a tour in about 7 states, and using my content. But then I realized more and more that college students have the opportunity to take ethnic studies courses, to take classes that teach them about diverse populations, but our students in elementary school, middle school, high school, they don't often get that. And so this company started with assemblies, me going to assemblies, hiring staff, a DJ, 2 artists, and we do school assemblies all across the country in 21 states we've been to. But Joe, a creative is a creative, and an innovator is an innovator. And I said, why not create something on a larger scale, a grand spectacle? And that's how you see these large concerts like the one you just saw, where we travel around California. And now this year, we're going to be traveling outside of California to different states in order to really uplift and educate people and bring the celebratory aspect of a spectacle of history education.
I love a spectacle of history education. I mean, there's so much that needs to be done to showcase the relevance of what we teach in the classroom, but also it needs to be put in a way or format that gets the students to lean forward and to say, I need to hear this, I need to see this, I need to understand this. Tell me more. And that's what your shows do, right? You put on a show, but you're teaching truth. And I think that's amazing.
The truth shall set you free.
Yeah, that's it.
No, it's such a powerful thing, man. We start with just a simple fact of educating students. We must educating students and adults, because that's the beautiful thing. As we're doing this more and more, we're realizing it's also adults who are getting so much joy from this, and teachers. We're educating teachers in the simple fact that if you take the risk of reaching students where they are, or if you actually show students the representation of people that look like them and their peers, they will be engaged. So we're educating students about these diverse topics in history, showing them the representation of people who look just like them and their peers. And guess what, Joe? Out of the mouth of babes themselves and teachers, it's the greatest experience they've ever had.
Hey, see, I want to tell y'all, teach y'all about some amazing women, Hey. Latinas are amazing, full of beauty, love, and strength. Like Ellen Ochoa, the first Latina up in space by so demanding.
It was nonstop. The kids just really picked up on it. Staff, everyone was dancing.
He wasn't just rapping, he was rapping about our history.
My favorite part when he was talking about all the cultures and when he was rapping.
That's like a big party with a lot of learning.
It's probably the best rally we've had here.
I liked it when we all got up and started dancing.
I liked the show because he talked about Black history.
It touched me because many people don't really understand how important that is and how grateful we are to have those type of things. I'm just really happy that he put other people's eyes to see that. Schoolyard!
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 Oh my goodness. Look how excited they are, right? This right? is not an assembly that I've ever been to. You know what I mean? This is they would ask their parents to buy tickets and see that again. That's how excited they look.
And time again, they have. And that's the beautiful thing, because I tell people all the time, without the streams and the music industry, I'm the greatest children artist ever, because we're actually using this music to educate and uplift students. And they have such a blast, because, when it comes down to it, kids need to realize, and educators need to realize, that school should be fun. And for moments that we're at the school sites, they're getting this fun. They're enjoying themselves for the first time. They're seeing themselves in a different light. They're having fun. And that's what our school assemblies do. It brings fun and education. Look at these babies' faces. They appreciate every single thing. And you know what? Out of the mouth of them themselves, they know how impactful it is, but more importantly, how it's not something that's often given.
My favorite song was Fire, because it talks about how slavery and segregation is the only thing we learn in school about Black history, when there's so much more. We only learn about the negative things and not the positive things. So I love that he brought emphasis to that, and because it's really important. We really do need to learn more than just the books, more than just the slavery and the segregation.
And my favorite song would have to be my favorite song would be Massa Musa, because these are a lot of things that they don't teach us in actual history class. So getting to learn this through music is really cool, because sometimes it's hard for students to comprehend when it's just a book or a teacher is lecturing. So having it through music was really, really cool.
Yeah, and everyone loves music. So, and it's like powerful music that everyone should hear. And to have this is like amazing. And I'd love to have it every year. It's really important for Black students to hear this. Seniors, young, new students, it's just really important. And I think everyone felt like different and changed after this. We had people saying that this was the best assembly they've ever been to, and I think that's so important, and people deserve to feel like that, and that's what he did.
And Griot B is like such an amazing artist. So like,
amazing.
The fact that he like can really like sing and rap makes it 10 times better.
He kept the energy going. Everyone, like, the energy was amazing in here. I loved it.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
We engage students, man. That's what we do with every Sindel. It's about empowering, about educating them and engaging them and letting them know that they are seen and that we are hearing them as the generation that will change this world.
Yeah, and they can't. When I heard those two students speaking, they keep saying they don't teach us this in school. This is not in the books that we are learning from, right? It's opening their eyes to more than just curriculum. It's true history. It's history, again, that they're not getting except through your performance, through your words, through your music. And that, to you, that's got to be empowering to you, right? That you get to expose students to this truth.
Yeah, it's empowering. And you know what? I don't really talk about religion on my daily basis, you know, especially when it comes to schools. But, you know, this is my path in life. I really was, you know, growing up, they said I was going to be a preacher. And my daddy was a preacher. And I thought, you know, I ran away from that as fast as I could. Joe, I mean, I ran a 4-2 flat getting away from the church as fast as I could. But, you know, doing what I'm doing, and I start traveling across the country, I realized a couple of things that really grounded me and focused me into this career path. And the first thing was, you know, it's just as important for white students to hear about the histories of people of color as it is for African Americans and Latinos and Asian Pacific Islanders to hear about their history, because many people realize, and the truth is, there's racism in this country, and that's a real thing. But kids don't start off that way. Adults don't start off that way. It's things like ignorance and fear that leads to it. And so what I'm doing, my path and my calling, is to alleviate ignorance by just spreading truth. Right? Spreading joy. You know, the greatest commandment in many religions is often love thy neighbor and love yourself, right? And that's what we're doing. We're teaching people to love the people who don't look like them necessarily, but also for students to love themselves more with our positive affirmations. As you heard in the first slide, every single show in assembly, we have students repeat a mantra. It's I am amazing, I am intelligent, I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am worthy, right? And so those are the things that grounds me in what we're doing. And the second thing that really grounds me in this path is that we aren't taught everything. I do activity with students and adults, and I have them stand up and I say, think about what you were taught about Black history growing up, right? And this can be done with Latino history or Asian Pacific Islander history as well. But think about what we were taught in K-12 education and really think on it. And then I say, okay, take a seat if you ever learned about Queen Aminatu, which is a warrior woman, a queen who took over the Empire Zazu after her father passed. And after she ascended the throne, she conquered many lands around her, a woman leading it. A great story, so much so that even today they say Aminatu, a woman that's strong and worthy of being named as a man, right? I say, take a seat if you ever learned about Charles Bolden, right? Who was one of the first Black man to be head of NASA. Right? Take a seat if you ever learn about Gladys West, who invented all the mathematics and calculus, algebra, trigonometry for our GPS satellites to track our global positioning satellite. Gladys West did that. Say, take a seat if you ever learned about Queen Nanny, who, if you have Jamaican or West Indian heritage, Queen Nanny was the woman who was a queen prior to being captured and enslaved, and she led many Jamaicans, the Maroons, to freedom in Jamaica. Or what about Bass Reeves? Take a seat if you ever learn about Bass Reeves, the first Black man to be a deputy marshal in the Wild Wild West, captured over 3,000 criminals. He was the story of the Lone Ranger that we see in the movie. That's his story. I say, take a seat if you ever learn about Ernest Everett Just, who studied cells and the reason why we have things like birth control and different cell genomes is because Ernest Everett Just. Or what about Garrett Morgan? If he invented the traffic light, he invented gas masks. And then I say, inevitably, take a seat if you learned about slavery. Now, I promise you that the majority of all the students, they're not sitting down during any of these great stories. And these are stories of STEAM. These are stories of intellectual, of more than just perseverance that slavery and segregation teaches African Americans. But everybody only learns pretty much slavery and segregation. But guess what? What Schoolyard Rap believes, what I believe, it's not the teacher's fault, because that's all they're taught. So that's all they know to teach. So what we do, as you noted, is try to provide as much information, representation for students to see themselves in a way that's different from these lessons that aren't exactly empowering. And that's what we do. We empower students through our presentations. We empower students through our assemblies, through our concerts, and the innovation of it. The cool part is even our assemblies, Joe, we have audio, of course, for our auditory learners. We have kinesthetic movement, but we have videos, lyric videos for every single song that we have, so that our visual learners can read along and learn. And that way, through there, we're expressing the different modalities of education and letting every student be able to listen. And let's be honest, many of our teachers might be a little older. They need to read along too. They might not be hip to the hop. So, you know, it's a passion of mine, and it's my calling, and why I'm so fervent about getting this company in every single school district around the nation.
No, I love this. Can you say that mantra one more time that you ask students to say at the beginning of each of your shows?
Yes, sir. Throughout the show, we have students repeat the following. Say, I am amazing, right? Say, I am powerful. Say, I am intelligent. Say, I am worthy. And say, I am beautiful. Throughout the show, we have students repeat that, because there's more history and learning history, especially history of, you know, ethnic studies, as some people call it. It's more than just learning about negative things. It's a social emotional piece to it. It's an empowering thing. You know, research shows and studies have been done where they notice that when students have a high positive racial identity, they not only improve better in school, they have lower suspension rates, lower detention rates, lower recidivism rates, higher graduation rates, right? So it's more than just the CRT that some people would like to brand this as. No, this is just empowering. This is representation. This is life fulfilling. And that's why we find so much success in what we do.
No, I love this. Right? Everything that you're saying, it not only empowers the students emotionally, but it empowers them to realize there's more than just what I'm taught in the classroom. I can go out there and I can find this. And with the technology that they have available, right, with the internet, with all the different sources, they can go out and learn about what you just said. You may have talked about, like, Bass Reeves. You mentioned him. You talk a little bit about him. That may have hit an emotional tone with somebody. I need to research this person more. And they go off and they read a biography about him, or they go and watch, you know, a show about it. It starts maybe this fire inside that starts to ignite. Maybe this learning is something that I want, right? Maybe I can take hold of it and learn more beyond the classroom. And you're providing them with the fuel to stoke their fire. And I love that. That's amazing.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, every human is flawed, but those people who we remember through history as greatness, they're remembered for a reason, because of the hard work, the sacrifice, the efforts they put in to be remembered as great. There's so many lessons that students can learn just by looking up their story, that not necessarily about a specific time in history, but rather, how did this person become so successful? What did they do? When did they not give up? When did they not only persevere, but how did they know how great they were to continue along the path that they want? And Joe, you touched on something that's really important. You know, your students get excited beyond just those times we're in the school, because this is more than what they're taught, but also our history is more than a month. Whether it's Black history, Latino history, Asian Pacific Islander history, you know, U.S. history, it's more than a month. Right. And that's why we're even moving beyond just our assemblies, and we're beyond just our big concerts, which we want everybody to attend. But now we've developed something that I'm very proud of. And this is our curriculum that we are beginning to finally push out, because we've been developing it for so long. And Joe, I'm proud of this. I am ecstatic. Remember Bill Nye the Science Guy growing up?
Yep, I do.
I basically created a history version of Bill Nye the Science Guy. I call it home/school history. Take a look.
Where does Black history begin?
You know, kids got to learn.
It's a television show.
Television?
Please welcome to the show, Emperor Tinkamani.
Dr. Brown, thank you for having me.
The master of jive, Cab Calloway. You're Ella Fitzgerald. You're amazing. George Crumb, inventor of the potato chip. She is the first self-made female millionaire. Madam C.J. Walker, welcome to my show.
I am Dr. Williams, and I successfully performed the first open heart surgery.
We will explore the many contributions of Latin American ingenuity and science. Groove, dance, move, bailar. In Spanish, bailar means to dance. It's time to warm up.
Left and left, right and right.
Engineer, scientist, her name is Ellen Ochoa, and she is the first Latina in space.
I am Huitzilopochtli, the god of war of my people, the Mexica Aztecs.
Capture codes are used to protect computers from viruses and bot attacks. Invented by a Latino. The Beauty Blender. Popcorn. The wireless telephone system. French fries. Gum. Chocolate. Created by Latinos.
This is our curriculum. It's coupled with tech sets, Lexile level based tech sets. It's coupled with lesson plans that are scripted out. It's coupled with worksheets and project based learning. Everything, the best part is aligned to the ELA Common Core standards, so that especially in elementary school, where we're focusing on it, there's no ELA block, or there's no history block or science block, but teachers can now use their ELA block to input our curriculum in there. And it's not about history per se, but just about representation. We're learning about these individuals in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math that have done great things. We learn about their field, those tier 3 vocabulary words, but also we see ourselves by looking at them. So I'm really excited about this curriculum.
And it's not only informational, but it looks entertaining. Like, I want to go and see more of these episodes. I really do. And you know, we spoke at the top of this episode that you are definitely keynoting on Friday, right? They're going to see the entire production. I can't wait. But you're also going to have a session on more than a month. And you're going to be able to provide a deeper dive into what that video was showcasing, and a deeper dive into what you were just saying about how it hits all the standards and how it can be incorporated into classroom instruction. So that is also going to be happening. That's going to be happening on Thursday. And so make sure you attend that session. It is in your conference schedule. I want to just make sure they get a shout out, because you are going to be on the main stage, right? On Thursday, March 21st. At the end of the conference, right? I believe it's 3:50 is when that happens. But you are going to be at your booth the entire time, rocking out, doing performances, playing the music, getting people excited. So I want to make sure people know where your booth is, and that is going to be in the vendor hall, booth 1208. So make sure you stop by and see them before their performance, and then also the next day on Friday after their performance. There's just so much to cover. There's nothing we have. I could do a whole hour episode with you, Brandon. I mean, you're amazing. I truly think what you're doing is needed, but also it transcends almost anything that I've seen to get students excited about their place in learning. And there's been many people before you that have tried, and I don't think they're doing it or have done it as well as you and your team. So you are truly doing amazing work. You're truly changing the world one performance at a time. And I sure hope you change Spring Q for the better after your performance. So
listen, Joe, I appreciate that. Make sure y'all show up. 3:50. All right, listen, the 21st, it will be magnificent, marvelous, wonderful. You are going to leave there in complete joy and just energy of like being in education and working with students. Trust me, don't miss it.
Oh my goodness. Listen to him. Okay. If you're not registered for Spring Q, register now just to see Brandon and his team. Okay. Stay for the rest of the conference, of course, but you have to catch this show. It is going to be transformative. So everybody, we will see you this week in a few short days for an amazing event. an amazing performance, and hopefully amazing things that you'll learn to take back to your school community and keep on changing lives. So until then, Brandon, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank all of you who are watching us today, and we will see you either in virtual space or in actual space in Palm Springs on March 21st this week. Have yourselves a phenomenal day, everybody.